What's up folks, welcome back to another video and welcome to Tuscany. It's raining outside and a little bit moody, but still looks kind of nice. But anyway, this is my Yashica Mat, and about a year ago I put a roll of Kodak Gold 200 in this thing, actually when we were last in Tuscany. I fully intended to shoot some photos on it, but I ended up just using the 35mm and I didn't take any photos on this thing at all. So what I want to know is, does leaving the film in the camera for a year negatively affect anything? I've heard there can be some color shifts with your scans and stuff, and I've also heard that having film loaded in a camera, because it's wound kind of tight and stuff, can sort of warp the film or add like a little curve in the film, which means there can also be some focusing issues. So I'm going to take some photos around the villa here. There's a few nice corners inside, it's very rustic. I might get outside for a few as well. And I just want to see if the film holds up and if the results are just kind of the same as normal or if there's any negative effects. Obviously the camera has just been sitting in my office sort of at room temperature. It obviously hasn't been stored in the fridge or anything. So camera sitting in the office, film loaded for 1 year. Let's see how it turns out. Just wanted to quickly jump in, as well as being left in the camera for a year, that roll of film also went through 3 airport scanners, one of which I believe was a CT scanner, so certainly makes the results that bit more interesting. The first or second photo is where I would imagine there might possibly be some issue with film warping or any particular focusing issues, and because I did load the film in and then didn't take any photos, the next few photos you take is sort of where the film would be bent over that 90-degree angle before it gets to the film plane. If you took a few photos on the roll and then left the camera, then it would be the next 1, 2, maybe 3 photos where you might notice that potential issue, I would imagine. I would also imagine that's kind of the same with any potential light leaks. Those first few photos where the film's sort of been slightly rolled out may be slightly more exposed to any potential light that might leak in with the camera sitting there, so yeah. Okay, so I framed up this shot with the window on one side here, and then we've got the little corner with the cute little vintagey sort of seat, the lamp, and this old portrait painting on the wall. Kind of cool. It's just a very rustic-y sort of scene. Obviously I'm going to have to completely sort of blow the window light out, which I think will look quite cool. I want to make sure that the lamp is exposed properly, so at the minute, to get everything focused, I'm thinking f16, and I've metered it at about 2 seconds-ish. And I'm going to use my little shutter release cable here, just because a lot of these are probably going to be a bit longer just because it's inside. Just need to focus and then snap this one. Alright, f16, 2 seconds. Boom. Hopefully that works. Okay, so next frame here, shot of this kitchen. It's kind of quirky and cool, but rustically at the same time. Have this one again at f16 to make sure everything's in focus. And this one is metering at about, gonna shoot at about 1 second, because I'm gonna have to overexpose the actual lamps themselves because they're bright, but I don't want the glow on the wall to be blown out. So 1 second seems to be a good spot. So we'll go with that. f16. Need to make sure this cable isn't in it. f16, 1 second. I think this shot turned out really nicely. A bit of a tricky one to meter, but thankfully my metering worked out pretty spot on here. There might be a very slight haze to this one, but it's hard to tell again because very bright lights in a dull space kind of give that look. Sharpness again though looks good right across the frame, so there doesn't seem to be any issue with film flatness or anything on these first few shots, which like I said is where I would imagine I may have noticed it. This is a bit of a different shot than what I would normally take, but yeah, I really like this one. Okay, so because I was an absolute idiot, I'm back shooting this first shot again. I went in and shot the shot that you just seen, and then realised while I was trying to meter that instead of, for some reason when I was metering, it was supposed to be 2 seconds for this shot, I set the camera to 2, which means half a second. So yeah, this is what happens when you don't use a camera like this, metering manually and everything, for well over a year. So I've shot this one now properly at 2 seconds, so you can see the difference between a shot that's probably underexposed a little and hopefully the one that I've got right, so it'll be interesting to see the difference. So the first thing with this shot is there might be a very slight haze to the photo. Now that might totally have been there anyway, because I was shooting directly at a very bright window. I was able to easily adjust this and bring some nice contrast back in post, so yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. I couldn't really put that down to leaving the film in the camera. The first version, the more underexposed version of this shot, definitely has a slightly warmer look to it. That could be a bit of a colour shift thing from underexposing, or it could simply be the white balance choice of the person doing the scanning. I actually rather that warmer, more orange look on the lamp, but I do think the second image was more lifelike. Looking in a bit closer at the photo, it's certainly not a great photo to judge sharpness from corner to corner because of how dark it is at the edges, but looking at the tiles here at the bottom, they look really sharp from one side to the other. The right side here looks nice and sharp, you can see how sharp it is with the texture on the wall here, and then over on the left side, the grain on this window door, not sure if that's what it's called, but yeah, window door, and also the wall edge here looks very sharp. Right across the centre here from the other window door across to the picture is really nice and sharp, so it doesn't seem to me like there is any issue with focusing or sharpness here. Okay, so fourth shot, I believe this is, because I had to take the first one twice, but we're outside now, different day, actually a different villa as well, and we have this nice little eating area here and the mountains in the distance, and the light is directly behind. I'm shooting directly into the light, but I'm just sort of keeping the brightest part just behind the sort of shelter bit here, so yeah, kind of hazy in the distance, looks kind of cool. We've got a lot of, it's kind of harsh light because it's like directly midday now. I think it's like almost 12 o'clock, so kind of harsh, but I think that kind of works because we've got nice lines in the shadows from the chairs and stuff's kind of nice, so might be a little bit tricky to meter this one, but looks kind of nice. I have things framed up, just need to focus, meter, and see how this one turns out. I am using the shutter release for this one, just because I've used the timer a lot. I don't know if it gives problems with these, but I feel like if there's something that it might be the little self-timer thing, so I'm just going to use this instead, not overuse the timer. The light just sort of keeps coming and going. It's currently behind a cloud, so I don't have any of the shadows in the foreground, which kind of makes everything look a little bit flat, so can't really meter until the light gets brighter, but it's a little tricky because it's coming and going. So Just kind of playing the waiting game. I have had a lot worse places to play the waiting game, to be fair. There's like complete 180 view here from this spot, which is pretty damn nice. Okay, I've literally been waiting here for like 15 or 20 minutes. I think the sun's going to peek out now, and as soon as it does, I'm going to quickly try and meter. I think I know what I need. I think it's going to be 1/30th of a second. That will keep my highlights at about 7-ish on the light meter chart thing that I talked about in a previous video, which should mean they are not overexposed. Obviously the sky in the background is going to be kind of hazy and blown out, but that's okay. Here we go. Light's almost strong enough. 3, 2, 1. Boom. This photo actually turned out a lot flatter than I imagined, which does just show how good the dynamic range is with film, to be honest. Thankfully, again, I seem to have metered this one pretty spot on. I just added some contrast back in and upped the saturation a little bit, and I'm pretty happy with how this one looks. There doesn't seem to be any colour shifts, and again, the sharpness looks really good right across the frame. I talked a bit about this shot in a previous video, so I won't blabber on too much. I do love this photo though, it turned out really nice. Not really any issue with colour shifts or focus issues from what I can see here, it all looks pretty good to me. Definitely the sort of scenes I love to come across when on trips though. Backroad stuff and all that, you probably get the idea by now. I have said it many times, but I do love old gates, and just scenes like this one in general. Rusty old gate, cobbled together with different pieces of metal and wire, with a sign saying no trespassing. It doesn't really get much more country than that. I actually ended up taking a few different exposures of this same scene at f11 and f16, because I forgot my timer for one, and then I wasn't sure if f11 would be enough to get everything in focus. So I ended up actually taking 3 or 4 photos here. Again, with all of these photos, no issues with colours or anything from what I can see at least, and everything looks as sharp as expected, edge to edge. So yeah, that was the results of one roll of Kodak Gold 200 sitting in my Yashica Mat here for over a year, and also passing through 3 different film scanners, one of which, like I said, I believe was a CT scanner. So that roll of film certainly didn't have the easiest life. And there didn't really seem to be any issues at all, at least that I could notice without having a comparison roll, obviously. The colours all looked nice, and the sharpness looked pretty much as I would expect compared to all the other rolls that I've shot in the Yashica. Now obviously this wasn't a well planned out test or anything, I just sort of didn't get around to shooting the roll. But from doing a little bit of research and stuff, it definitely is an issue that you can come across when leaving film in a camera, and apparently TLRs in particular are apparently one of the cameras where it can be more of an issue. But for me, and for this period of time, leaving the film in there seems to be all good. Obviously, I don't recommend to leave your film in your camera for that long, but if you have, based on this roll anyway, it should probably be okay. For the airport scanners, I was actually thinking about doing a separate video on this, and then after just doing a quick bit of research, I just realised I just simply don't know enough about it, nor am I willing to take a lot of different rolls of film through airports and do different tests and stuff, so it would kind of be pointless. I wouldn't come to any conclusion in it. But at least for this roll and any experience I've had in the past with putting rolls of film through scanners in airports, I haven't had any major issues. Again, try and not do it, but I haven't had any issues luckily enough, and it was just interesting to see how this roll turned out, especially because one of the scanners, I think it was the CT scanner, literally said not safe for any film, so yeah, I could just be lucky there. So all I can say is it didn't seem to be affected too much, or at least not enough that I could notice it on this roll without having a side-by-side comparison or something like that. Anyway, I think that's enough blabbering for this one. I actually do really like some of the photos that I got on that roll, so glad they turned out okay. I actually shot another roll when we were back in Italy again in Rome and stuff, but I think I'm going to leave that roll for another square format mistakes video. I know I didn't think I was going to do another one, but I did make more mistakes, funny enough, so I think I'll leave that to try and explain some of those photos. But hopefully this was interesting in some way or other. I just want to mention one more thing. If you want to jump in the Discord, I mentioned it in the previous few videos, I am thinking about doing either a video or a live stream, just kind of analysing some photos from you guys. So if you want to submit some photos, jump into the Discord, the link is in the description below. Submit some photos and they might be featured in the video or live stream or whatever I decide it's going to be. If you enjoyed this one, maybe give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and as we always say, take it easy, don't be a stranger.